All right, we're back. Episode 2 of the B.
Second one down.
The B4 podcast. Bourbon,
beers, barbells, and bullshit.
We'll get it sooner.
Yeah, we'll get it knocked in.
And this is my bourbon, yeah, with my cool.
Is it bourbon tonight though?
No. This is just whiskey.
Yeah,
this is
whiskey,
the
Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, I guess I like the Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah,
I know you like it too.
That's good.
I like it, but I put a little bit of amaretto in it.
Right.
It's for me, amaretto smooths everything out.
It does.
So I put it in scotch. Now, by the way, if you put
See, I like scotch lime, one lime, and just a splash of water.
I've never tried that.
It's really good.
So what is that called? Something?
No,
it's just your concoction. They call this when you put scotch when you put a little bit of amaretto with scotch. It's called an Admiral.
Right. We talked about that last week. Then the cranberry is red snapper.
So now, okay. So after last week's episode, I know you got some feedback, and somebody said because this is bugging me.
Okay.
Somebody said to you, "Hey, tell your buddy that." If he can't get hard on MDMA, then he's got the wrong shit. I'm like, wait a minute. This was told to me over and over by people.
Right.
So I was like, what the fuck? And when I did it, of course, every time after about you take it, things start to kick in about 45 minutes,
right.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after about an hour and 20, yeah, I'm useless. So like, I got stuff straight from like fucking like
maybe the amount. I
was only using up to about 200 milligrams.
Okay. Well,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And
it affects everybody differently too. I guess. I don't know.
Well, this is my buddy told me. He said, man, if you're gonna have sex, bro, he said, do it in the first 2 hours. Because after that, and I have to admit, well, the first time I did it, I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she's like, here, try some of this. I said, what is it? She's like, it's Molly. And it was just straight MDMA because she didn't have cocaine. And she says, and so I tried it, and when we fucked all night, right? And I was able to do it, but I was taking Cialis, I was taking all this other shit.
I don't know, they're counteracting drugs in there too.
But it was harder. I remember I thought it was cool because I think we did a marathon like 10 hours. I was at the Arnold actually. And I remember my buddy was helping.
Well, after the show's over, that's pretty common. I mean, no, it's not.
No. This is like during the weekend.
Right. Oh, okay.
And I'm like doing my work. She's in the hotel room. I'm doing my work. And then I would come back, and then we would spend all night fucking. I would get like maybe 2 hours sleep. I'd go out, do my work, come back. And
it's like day 3 worthless.
I couldn't figure out how I even was able to do that.
Right.
Now, you were talking about your truck earlier.
Yeah.
I used to have. I don't know if I told you, but I used to have a Hummer almost exactly like yours.
You did, but it was a different color, right? It was
black,
yeah. But it was mine's matte.
Yours matte.
Mine's matte.
Yeah, mine's the regular
gloss.
Yeah. And I had like chrome on the bumpers.
Mine's all black. Everything on it.
What about the inside? I didn't know.
Inside's tan leather with custom black interior.
So I had what is that called? Carbon fiber.
Yeah, carbon fiber.
And I had a carbon fiber steering wheel. It's fucking rad.
So all the interior, all the like casings are all black, custom painted black.
Oh, really? So it's all flat black?
Oh no, it's shiny gloss.
So when did you get this vehicle?
I got it almost a year ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't know they still made them.
No, it's a 03. It's an old one.
Okay.
It's the original. It's like the first year they made it. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's got the LS engine in it.
That's the exact same one I had.
Yeah.
It's got the air thing in the back.
Yeah, I love the air thing. It's got the air suspension.
Yeah.
I have to keep mine up though because I have the 38s on it. So if I go down, I'm like rubbing all in everything.
I didn't have that. Yeah. I had whatever came stock with it.
Yeah, well, and the stock ones too. If you get a flat, you can inflate the tires.
Yeah. I had that. I never had to use it because I never.
You never. I don't go off road.
Everyone used to ask me that, like, "Oh, you take it off road?" I'm like, "I don't know if I got my car
truck." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a big guy. What am I gonna do? Drive a little tiny car? I can't even fit in it."
I've had the tightest, smallest car I had was a Z06.
Okay.
And it was a bitchin' car. I gave it to my first wife when we got divorced. And but I would slide into that thing, it felt like I was riding on the ground.
The worst though is the low ones. What I like, but I had a bad experience out of the Hummer too. Was getting out of the car after lead day.
Oh.
You like fall into the car and then you get out, and then I had a manual. That wasn't, you're like sitting in it, and you're like, don't cramp, don't cramp.
What year?
The Hummer?
No. The manual?
Yeah, I've had 2. I had an old Subaru Legacy. Well, it was new then. And then I had a little Honda that I run around because when I moved out here, I got a Harley. And I was like, yeah, I can ride a Harley year round all the time. And then going to the grocery store, I was like, I'm not going to be able to fit all these groceries in here. So I just got a little Honda Civic to run like grocery store and errands in.
I've always been not a big motorcycle guy.
Right.
I've ridden them before, but man, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was living here in Arizona. I was like, man, just last week I was like, maybe I should get a fucking Harley.
See, I have a Fat Boy, and I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, it's fun.
They just look cool. It just looks like
fun. I mean, it's a cruiser. It's not like you don't want to pump 150 on it down the interstate or anything. But
what about, I mean, here in Arizona, I don't know about you, but the short time I've been here, I've noticed that the drivers here suck ass.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I mean, I would be worried that...
I think, though, too, it's like the times have changed, and half the time everybody's on their phone texting or Instagramming, or the girls are doing their makeup and their camera, and they're sitting there.
So don't you feel nervous when you're out there? You'd be really defensive when you're driving?
No, I mean, I've been on a bike pretty much my whole life. So, I mean, I rode dirt bikes when I was a kid and everything. It's pretty natural.
You break anything?
No, I haven't, actually.
Jeez.
Yeah, knock on wood on that one. Let's not start and do something outside of the gym. But
well, so we got week one down of, well, kind of almost week one down of us starting our program.
Yeah.
So I thought I would give a little, we talk a little about.
All right, sounds good.
So you've already gained.
I'm probably
like 7 or 8 pounds.
7 or 8 pounds.
I probably
dropped 3% body fat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would go way down. Instant. I took all the super fat bars out and ice cream at night.
I know you're like, you didn't put the kid.
I was like, where's my cereal? I'm like, I eat a bowl of cereal every night. And what am I supposed to do?
Your bowl of cereal is a whole box.
Yeah, it's a box. You get the big bowl. Big spoon.
Big box of Lucky Charms.
Yeah, Lucky Charms or the s'mores.
Oh, yeah.
Post s'mores. Yeah, those are
I never had those.
Oh, they're really good. I'll bring you a box.
I used to like those cookie, was it cookie crisp?
Oh, yeah, those are
good. I remember when it first came out when I was a kid, I was like, Mom, I thought, fucking have cookies for fucking breakfast.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a good one, too.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, yeah. But I've always been like a
But I like it to get in, when you're having to get in an excess amount of carbs, and cereal's fairly clean. I mean, fat's going to be pretty low. Well, as long as you get a cleaner one. I mean,
the only thing that I don't like about some of the cereals is that as long as they're not putting, do you know if they're putting, I haven't looked at the labels, if they're putting a high fructose corn syrup in it, if they use it.
Right, true.
Because, man, okay, so it's okay for us to a certain degree. But in general, high fructose corn syrup is really, really kind of heinous on our bodies.
True. I mean, it is.
Our bodies don't really, it's not a natural substance. Our bodies don't really know how to deal with it very well. And so people end up just getting fat.
Coming from the guy that eats candy for his cheat meal.
Hey, I've always been like a sweet tooth kind of person. But I keep a candy box in my pantry. But I depleted it before I started this. I'm like, I ate it all down so that way, and I haven't refilled it.
But you're hungry. You're like ready to eat.
I am ready to eat now. I mean, I was surprised, man. So
it came in quick. I mean, but that's good. Your metabolism picked right into it.
Day one. I'm eating. I'm like, oh, I hope I can get all these meals in. And I'm like, because they're a pretty big volume. I'm eating like 70 grams of carbs from rice, almost every meal, or sweet potato, and plus all the chicken. And I add, unlike you, I add vegetables to everything.
See, I don't.
So every meal it gets.
But I thought you didn't like vegetables. Oh, you love vegetables. You love vegetables.
And it doesn't feel complete for me without the veggies. I don't add a ton.
But before I switched to your plan, too, I was eating so many carbs that I didn't. I was like, that was just excess. It's like 3 cups of rice every meal.
I could notice the difference. Like today, I noticed
100%.
It's like you're
full instantly.
Through your chest and shoulders.
I'm starving, but it's starving.
It's gonna.
That's good. Yeah. I'm sweating all the time when I eat already.
So what does Kristen say so far?
She's fine with it. I mean, now she's starting hers. I just cut her food back this week too. So I was like, every week you're going to be eating more, she's going to be eating less. So hers actually, surprisingly, when I clean her up in a week, I'll start adding more carbs. We just pulled the cheat meals out. Or the bag of pretzels, or gummy bears.
So now, I don't know if everybody else heard this news today, but the head office of the NPC, the IPB worldwide, they said that for wellness, the IPB Pro Wellness Division, they're allowing the ladies this year only
for the top two
in any wellness pro show to qualify for the Olympics.
Right. Well, they have. Well, there's not every show's having wellness in it. So that was our scare first. I mean, until about 2 weeks ago, they hadn't really announced there was only 2 shows that have wellness in the.
I don't know how many is there now.
I think there's about 10.
10. Okay, good. And that's just up to the qualifying date.
Which is.
It's like right before the Olympia.
Yeah, it's October.
I think they're going to do the Olympia at the normal time.
Okay.
So yeah, October, is it October, September?
No, it's
right in between.
Right in there.
So it's going to be right there, unless that changes. I don't know if it's going to change.
Who knows?
And it will be probably in Orlando. I mean, I'm pretty sure 99%. They're definitely doing the Masters there.
The New York Pros in Tampa. We're going to do that one.
I think it's just easier for them to do this without trying to fuck with all these restrictions because we got another year of COVID. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Oh, easily.
There's no way around
at least 1 year.
And this is like the year of like this last year was, I call it the year of fear.
It was. I think now we're in the adjustment period.
I hope so. I really do, man, because
I feel like people are adjusting more to it. I hate.
Well, this is the kind of an important issue. I've had several conversations just in this last week alone with clients and people who literally crying on the phone with me because I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? They're like, well, I haven't been able to see my friends, and I'm like, and I get this because they've been locked down. This is mostly people back east.
Well, I mean, if we really look at it, how many people have lost their jobs or haven't been able to work or had to completely change where they're isolated working from home? I mean, the social interaction and not even thinking about, I couldn't even imagine being a kid right now or a teenager. I mean, school is completely different, you know?
Yeah, I know. I know my daughter this year, she lives in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and during the school year, and they gave her the choice. And half the students chose to go to school, and the parents, the other half of the parents decided to keep their kids home and do distance learning. My daughter chose to go to school.
Which I think is so important. Well, I mean, just school, it's not just about the learning, it's the social interaction and how to interact with people on a daily.
Well, I started thinking, what would I have chosen if I were her age? If I were 12 or 11 like she is, I would have chosen to stay home now. But I went through a whole lifetime of going to school. I never had no lockdown.
Oh, no, there was nothing.
And I said, why do you want to go why did you choose that, sweetheart? And she said, oh, I want to see my friends and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, good. The social aspect is important. I think children are feeling.
I mean, and too, I would have looked at it. I would have gone to school because it would have been weird. What do you do? Sit at home all day, then go to football practice?
I don't know. My brother and I would. I'm pretty sure my brother and I would have been playing D&D or something. Man.
Oh yeah.
We were big into role playing games.
Okay.
Big. We still play every once in a while.
Okay.
My brother and I get together. We'll play with his kids, with his two sons.
Oh, that's fun though.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
But one of them was like 23. One was like 20.
My favorite game as a kid was my dad had this old like baseball game, and no. This is cards from when he was a kid, and every player has, and you roll dice, and you keep up with the stats from the game. Oh. So like if you roll a 6 on Yastrzemski, it's a double. But if you roll a 3, it's a strikeout, and you play the whole game. So it's going down, but you have to pick like your starting lineup and rotate your pictures. And he and his brother would have seasons, actually like full seasons for the team, 180 games a season, and they would play it on. Let me in on this, and they would get the updated thing. But they were really big into baseball and like baseball cards and stuff. Which, funny story, personal story on this one. So they got in trouble when they were kids, and they had bags. I mean, like garbage bags of baseball cards. And my dad's in his 60s, so this was like Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, and his dad got mad, and they were upstairs playing the game instead of playing this game I was talking about instead of actually doing their homework. So he took all these bags of baseball cards and went and threw them in the trash, and they were gone.
What?
And they kept one box. So these basically like a little shoebox. Basically, they like went and hit a bunch of them, threw them in the closet, and hit them. And I mean, in the box probably worth thousands and thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars from these collectibles. So I'm like, man, wonder what would have happened if we had these 4 bags.
Imagine the treasure trove of shit that's in there. Right?
Some garbage man's living it up today. He pulled it out for his kids.
Man, that was such a shame. But I kept all my comics. I collected comics when I was a kid. I kept all I still have them in plastic bags. Some of those comics have never been opened since 1981.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because I would buy 2 copies, one to keep one to read.
There you go. Smart.
We were just collectors of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I did have a friend who collected a lot of comics. As a matter of fact, he told me this screwy story. He his dad collected all these comics.
Okay.
From when he was a kid, and I think his dad's dead now. But he had like the second edition of like he had one of the original Action Comics #1 with fucking Superman. That's worth fucking $2-3 million.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
In shitty condition, it's worth like that much. And he said he had that. He had several other ones that were majorly valuable. And he had, I'm not kidding.
It's like you got the Batman one.
Well, he had so many comics. There were like, I think he said there was like 10 or 15,000 comics. Right? He had them just in boxes in his garage. He said, "Hey, I'll sell these for you." So when his dad died, they said, "I'll sell these, and we'll all split it." The sons. The sons. So he sells them all, and he gives my buddy. He said, "I got like 15 grand," but he's like, "There was more than 15,000 comic books. I know there was more." But I'm like, "You mean your uncle like ripped you off?"
Yeah, that's
because he's like, I said, just the one comic book. If that one comic was in there,
worth
millions. And guess what? That year he said, I said, well, what did you notice anything that year? He said, oh yeah, he bought a new Cadillac that year, and a new house.
Oh, well, I wonder where that came from.
I was like, well, that sucks ass.
Yes, that does.
Well, needless to say, he's not the favorite uncle anymore.
No, not at all. But no, we've been a week back, a week at it training.
We got it, yep.
A week on.
I'm hurting, man.
I'm sore. My legs are wrecked.
I need to get some TB 500, man, to make sure that my shit stays together.
And we haven't even really started pushing it yet.
No,
we said that today.
As a matter of fact, I was going to mention on the podcast here, I'm thinking about us carrying a select few peptides that we like for research purposes, of course.
Absolutely, research purposes only.
But but if it's interesting to people, let me know. I'm always getting requests for this.
100%. And then supplementation on. We're going to be talking about your over-the-counter stuff. We're going to be talking about PEDs. Exactly. Nothing's going to be left out. So, and then our ideas on it, which are a little different. But
we're still
the same. Yeah, we're kind of coming up with something.
And we're developing our ideas about the seminar series.
Yes.
For
which is going to be good.
What did we say the name? I remember I came up with the name. We were talking about, we were just throwing it around. It wasn't like how to be a guru, because that's Dave. No. It was something else, but it's like coaching people how to be a coach.
Coaching people how to be a coach, and then top level lifters on learning what you're getting.
But I had a name.
I don't remember.
I remember it.
It wasn't coaches coaching coaches. It was. I don't know. We'll think of it.
I don't remember. Something like successful coaching. I don't know what it was. But anyways, it's going to be, because I get asked that a lot.
Oh.
Hey, what book should I read? What classes should I take? I want to do what you do. How do I do that? Well, the problem is that there's no courses that we took that like made us do what we do.
One, it's taken a little bit. I know I'm constantly want to be a sponge and learn things and trying new things. Like we had tried that burst training a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's why we got it. It's really a big reason why we got together.
Right, absolutely.
Other than the fact that
different.
I think you're cool.
Yeah, same. You're one of the few that I can get along with on a daily. Yeah. But no, it's taken a mixture. I mean, there's some great programming out there. I mean, Hami has FST7.
Neil Hill's got his
YT3 or something.
All these acronyms.
There's the Dennis started the MTUT, which is the time under tension stuff. He does a lot of that. But I mean, I think you can there's just so many different ways to get the end result, and it's finding kind of where you are too. I mean, if you're battling an injury, obviously time under tension is going to be better. And still putting the strain on the muscle.
One of the things that I don't see, now maybe I'm wrong, but one of the things I particularly don't see in a lot of trainers when they're releasing some of these products, these PDF files and stuff like that, these training things, that they don't really talk about mechanics as deeply as I think they should.
And I agree. And I think mechanics is a really tricky issue too. Because
that's all we're trying to do in the gym.
Exactly. But it's changing angles because my insertion origins might be a little different than yours. So it's looking at the big thing I've noticed with us is we can change the angle to the person, and it's having that other person to see it. Whereas like, hey, you need to pull your elbow up maybe a little higher than I do on this movement, or to get that muscle to fire the way we want to.
My dog's
snoring. But I think that's one of the things you can take a program, and then no matter how it is, you have to develop it to yourself.
Absolutely.
What you're doing, because if you're doing a pull over one wing or not getting the lat to fire, you might need to change the angle or drive through elbows or whatever it may be.
There might be a way for even us to extend the course and have people submit videos of them performing exercises.
Well, we would take the course and then do follow-ups, do a generalization, then maybe have another one that's based more nutrition-oriented or...
But tell us some ideas.
Yeah,
you guys have ideas.
We're open to anything.
Because I think it's kind of, for me, it's kind of exciting because I like having a partner in crime.
Of course.
I was born an identical twin, so I've always had a partner in crime.
Right.
But not in my business.
Well, and it's hard to pushing yourself. Like, I'm not going to go do a lead day to failure and just go, man, I really hope I can get this last rep on 5 reps on the lead.
Why do you think my legs have shrunk up like 10 inches in the last fucking 4 years?
But yeah, we've had some really good sessions, and Kristen trained some with us, and you said she trains like a
She trains like a dude. I like it. She trains like a dude. She's not doing puss out. She fucking puts it all in there. She goes all in. And that's good, man.
So it's been nice. We've had some really good ones.
She it's the way that she interacts with the weights that's different.
Absolutely.
So like the way she grabs stuff, the way she does that, I'm like, she's been working out with dudes her whole life, like which is okay.
She's been training with me, training partner for 3 years now.
So now, how long has she been bodybuilding? How long has she been doing this?
So she kind of did. She was with another coach before I even moved to Arizona, but she was very into like circuit training. Like 2.5 hour workouts nonstop. I remember the first day we trained duets. So I'm like in the corner.
You mean
can't breathe?
You mean like CrossFit and shit like that?
Not CrossFit, but she used
By the way, if you're a CrossFit person, just stop listening to this right now.
Yeah. This is not going to be for you. But she was an instructor at Orange Theory, so she would take like her heavy lifts in, but it would be 20 reps of this, then go do full like giant set of something else, then come back in. So we put on some serious size going into actual rest time. And
so how long have you guys been seeing each other?
About 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. When did you move here?
4 years ago.
Okay, so then, and she's only been training this way for about 4 years.
Not even.
And she got a pro card last year.
In second show.
2
weeks. We got it in 2 weeks.
How many shows did she do?
So she competed in figure.
Okay.
Before. I think she'd done like 2 or 3 shows.
I can see her.
We put her in wellness. She wins the overall, turns around the next week, go to Universe and turn pro.
Awesome.
In about a 6-week prep.
And we're gonna. So now, did you guys look at the calendar
for what?
For her next show? Because
we're gonna do the New York Pro.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so we're
going back to Florida.
Yep, for under 14 weeks. So she started her diet today on her cut, and yeah, she's hungry.
Oh shit! I forgot to do my live thing. I'm gonna do.
Sorry,
this.
Hold on.
So today's episode, I wanted to do it on I wanted to broadcast it on my Instagram live, so that way I can interact with people. And I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my little thing. So sorry about the delay. Let's see. All right, here we go. And see if I can I have my little. I will.
We'll work it. I'll just sneak in here. And
actually, you know what? I'll get my thing. So just go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. So anyway, he's going to go set this up for live. So ask your questions or anything as we're going. Do a little logistic work here. All right. But no, training's been really good. Whoops. I've gotten stronger, put on some size quick. It's been nice coming back off the injury to lift heavy.
Was it your idea to bring her into wellness?
We talked about it, and I said I don't think she was going to compete again. And
what?
Last year was going to be a year that we were going to focus on me really making a push at Classic. And
put this back in.
We were going to do North Americans together, and I tore my tricep.
Oh, that's right.
So I was done. So she got a year focused on just her, and that was, meals.
Well, that made a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do anything, so I was bored. I was like, yeah, I get to train today. This is how I'm going to do it.
I don't know if I can see both of you.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. All right. See, that'll work. Let's see. Can I see me? I'm going to add the title.
We'll make it work.
All right. Here we go. Live. I'm going to put a title in here. See.
B4. But no, one of the things that you do on your live that I really liked is you'll get all, at the shows you're at, for the most part, that's not doing a paid live stream, you showed all the classes.
Yes.
So it's been awesome. It's been really, really good not being able to be at all the shows and everything. So
I don't know if you could read the questions if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, I'll see. I'll try to
ask
away.
Yeah. See if anybody jumps on here. They'll come on pretty quick. Here we go.
So we're going to keep updates every week on kind of how your training's going, how my training's going.
So I'm feeling like I need to add more calories.
Yeah, we're going to make some adjustments weekly.
I guess I'm just not filling out. I'm filling out. I'm getting better. I think I'm getting, but I usually, maybe it's because my memory tells me that when I was bulking up before, man, I always felt full and stuff. So
well, you said we kind of started on the lower end just because you had said
you
were worried about getting the food, and you're like, I'm going to eat 2 or 3 meals. And I was like, oh, he's going to hate me for a minute.
Oh, someone's in there. Zach, what does it say? Can you read that?
Oh, Hunter. Look at that. All right, Hunter, we'll look at your hack squat set that you just sent me.
Did he send it to you?
He sent it to me, but it's a tiny little video. So, anyway, Hunter is another second show pro. He did 1 show and qualified, and we took him to USA's and turned him pro in men's physique. So he'll be making his pro debut.
Oh, nice.
This year
so,
as well.
What show did you pick for?
We're not really sure yet. We might. We're talking about New York Pro for him too.
Okay.
Just throwing him into it, but he's put on about 15 pounds since his show, a solid muscle, and staying pretty lean. So we need to bring up upper chest and some back thickness, and we've definitely been working in those areas. We're building the legs into not a physique competitor.
So he's a younger guy, right?
Yeah, he's 25. So, super knowledgeable. Great guy.
In your experience, I like these kind of things. Like when you're in your experience, working with training these younger guys, because I have my own perspective on it. What do you think is the biggest deficit that they have? in terms of how they're approaching things, their knowledge.
Okay, I'll say this. This is not for Hunter because he is probably one of the most knowledgeable kids at his age I've ever had. He knows and researches. His nutrition knowledge and his training knowledge is like a 35-year-old. Oh. He's really, really good. As an overall, I see the younger kids jump on trends really fast, and they'll be like, oh, C-Bum's doing this. Well, you're not ready to do what he's doing. Yet, it's like, oh, I saw this. I'm new at the gym. I'm going to go compete. Well, you have to understand your tendons, your ligaments aren't ready to take the load of some of the stuff we're doing, nor your gear, might not match up to what's happening and your recovery's not there. You got to remember a lot of these pros at the top level, that's all they do. They're not working 12-hour days and then going into the gym at night. I know I run into it training all day because we train at an outdoor gym and in 120-degree summers. And
fucking love that shit.
I know, but you're not. I'm there. I'm like 6 hours in, maybe half. I'm gonna probably
hate it this summer because it's gonna be bigger. So,
but it's nice though. I think you just have to stay hydrated, for sure. But the biggest fall off to me is know where you are starting at. Like, don't go in and say, "Oh, I'm going to be this pro." Great, that's an end goal, but that doesn't mean that you're ready to do what they're doing.
What they're doing, right?
And I'm a minimalist. I want to do the least amount that I can get the most out.
Absolutely,
of. You don't need to jump in. And some people are going to hate me for saying this, but if you need to run slim and growth and 1,500 milligrams of test a week and 10 other compounds just to get qualified to do a national show,
it's probably not your game.
Probably not your game. So stick to it where you want to do it. Do it right, but look at the longevity in it too.
I see people like that comment.
Just because you don't need to get all that, get the most out of what you can with the least you can.
Absolutely. Besides, when it comes, so what I see at least a lot is that they're very trendy.
Right.
A lot of and there's a focal point these days. It seems like to me there's a focal point on the drug piece. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a very, very important.
Oh, you have to have some of it in, but nutrition, training, then use that as an accessory. Everything's an accessory. Get your base foundation down.
So when did you first start? When did you introduce gear in your program?
Later. I was an athlete, so it was probably, and I'll say this and not call anybody out, but I did have some coaches that if I wish I had some more knowledgeable people that I'd listen to because they put me on way too much, way too fast.
Oh, too soon.
I was like, what I know now, I'm like, I only needed 500 milligrams of test. They're giving me 2 grams and
holy shit.
Just
right off the bat.
Some crazy stuff. I remember I had an off season and it was like, oh yeah, run 15 IUs of slim and 10 IUs of growth and 1,500 milligrams of test and 900 milligrams of deca. And I'm like, 100 milligrams of Anadrol pre-workout. Oh. And I was like, I blew up and I was strong, but I could have gotten the same results training, hitting the nutrition right. Oh, probably a quarter of it. Really, because you're naturally.
I was forced to use lower doses because I didn't have money. So the first several years, I think most of my cycles were like Anadrol.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, but I grew like a motherfucking weed.
Yeah, I've seen some of your old shots.
I grew like a weed, and it wasn't until later where I got a lot more. I started really, really researching all this stuff early on. So, but back then it was like I don't know if you remember. You probably don't. In the '90s, the resource that we all went to for steroidal resources was the Anabolic reference guide.
Oh, I have it.
It's on my phone. Oh, really?
It's like the 1,000-page Anabolic Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, he had several editions. So I had the first edition, the second edition, third edition.
I had the one with the orange anabolics on it.
So Bill Phillips is the guy who's invented Metarex.
Okay.
And then he sold it. And he had Muscle Media 2000 magazine. He sold that. He's living on a beach somewhere with about $300 million.
Oh, well, that's nice.
That's very
nice. Now everybody has supplement companies.
Yeah, well,
there's some really great companies out there, though. I know Seth, Atson Sledge. Yeah, love all his products.
I called him this week. Yeah. Tried to get him on the show. He must be too busy to talk to me, Seth. Dude, come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I know Redcon. You like a lot of their stuff. Hunter actually uses a lot of the Redcon stuff.
I used to coach Aaron when he was an athlete, and so he and I have a good relationship, and we'll probably do something with him.
Right.
I like Redcon. I like the stuff they're doing. The only thing I don't like about and I've told him this. The only thing I don't like about the supplements is they put so much artificial sweeteners in there.
Right.
I don't like.
You got to make it taste good for some people.
But you know what? You can make it taste.
I have had some people be like, "Oh well,
there you go."
Yeah, but I just like the way this one tastes, and I'm like, We're not even calling anybody out in the supplement game. And I'm like, man, this is just shit.
I'll call people.
Yeah, I know you will. But I'm like some of the pre-workouts I used to build. I worked with a guy that was really great, Malcolm, and he gave me a list of stuff he wanted me taking pre-workout. And then I started looking at some supplements, and actually a girl at a supplement company is like, well, take this pre-workout. It's exactly what you need.
You know what? Come to think of it, we should just come up with our own formulations.
Yeah.
Come up with that. 3 products built from that.
Perfect.
You know, like pre-workout, some other kind, something like that.
I think some of the biggest questions in supplements I get.
Because I got my own views. And I know you
right, I do too. Are the proteins. Do you use whey isolate? There's so many options. Egg, and I know some people have allergies, have to use egg proteins and different things. I've found actually that vegan protein digestion causes the least amount of bloat for me.
Me too.
Whey's great, and I'll use it.
I do
but
too.
when I get about 8 weeks out, I have to switch to vegan because I get my gut blows out just when you're.
I have very so the whey protein market. This is funny. So most people don't know this, but the whey protein market many years ago, about 15 years ago, became very commoditized.
Right.
So like when Gatorade came out with their whey product and their Gatorade product, what they did was they purchased all of the whey protein on the market and they made it into a commodity. And so then they controlled the pricing. So then all the pricing for the whey protein went up. So all the supplement companies, bodybuilding companies now that make whey protein, they make maybe a couple of dollars per canister. If they only include it on their lines because they know they have to have it to be able to get customers. Right. So which really sucks. So what you'll find is they try in order to increase their profit margin, an isolate is the most expensive brand. Right. So what they do is they'll say it's an isolate because everybody wants isolates because they're the best.
Right.
But then it's really a mix.
Watered down kind of with other things. It has some isolate in it, but it's not pure.
But it's not pure isolate.
Right.
It's got like filtered whey. And by the way, everybody, if you read your labels and you see it says filtered whey concentrate, those are the lowest quality of whey proteins.
Right.
You really want just like ion exchange whey or triple filter, cold filter whey. That's what you really want. You want it to be an isolate. It'll say it on the label. So
absolutely,
I don't like because when you drink a whey concentrate or a filtered whey, then usually if you're taking the kind of volume that we're taking, like 50 grams at a time, you're gonna fart. It's gonna give you gas.
It is, and it's just rough sometimes. You can feel it in your gut sometimes. I mean, we'll do one about gut health too. I think that's a big one for us to do, and that's an area I really want to learn from you. I'm excited about is the over-the-counter supplementation on how to work it all in. I know basics. I know probably more than the average person, I would hope, but not anywhere close to your extent. So
our gut health, man. Most people don't know this, but your gut is they call it the second brain.
Right.
So there's more there's more neurons in your gut than there is in your brain. Most people don't know this.
Right.
So
I didn't know that.
So the vagus nerve from your brain that goes to your intestine, your digestive system, that's the nerve that communicates between your brain and the digestive system. They've shown studies that they can cut the vagus nerve and your gut knows exactly what to do. It doesn't need information from your brain.
Neurological system.
It already knows. And we think that it's because evolutionary, the first complex organisms were worms.
Right.
And this is exactly what they are. They're one gigantic digestive system. Whoop. Oh yeah, Mike. Here we go. It's one gigantic digestive system. So they eat dirt and they poop out their good soil. And so we're the same way. We evolved from all these things. We all come from the same kinds of organisms. And so our brains, our second brain, our gut is extremely, as a matter of fact, one cool thing that if you're a partier and you want to make sure your serotonin levels are the highest, 92% of your serotonin is created in your gut.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Only about 7% or 8% is made in your brain. So it's really your gut, your biome in your gut is really fucking important. And most people in our country walk around completely inflamed, and they don't really.
They have no idea.
They have no idea.
I know some of the basic ones. Turmeric's a good one. This wasn't even a subject I was thinking we were going to tonight, but. I know there's a lot to learn in that, and it's being researched a lot more.
A ton. Because we know now that it's so important. There's this complete biome in there. So that means that there's all this prebiotic and probiotic material that's in there. There's all these microorganisms that help us. And if they're not in the right ratios, then we get fucked up.
Oh, exactly. And it affects you all over your body, your performance, everything. So.
Everything. And as athletes, and as people who are trying to perform, we really want this machine that we operate
to be operated at the highest level.
If you had a car, if you're a race car driver, you take care of every single part of that vehicle. Because
I love that you use the car reference. I'm a big car reference guy too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, my father was a race car driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a professional race car driver. He used to design engines and stuff. I didn't know him, but that's what he did for a living. And so I get this. I actually asked my mother once, was my dad a good driver? And she said, because I was just curious, he's a race car driver, right? She said, actually, he was a really, really good driver. And I said, really? I would have figured he'd be fast.
Right, yeah.
He lived in Southern California. He gave my mother a Maserati when they got married and shit. I said, well, she said, he always used to tell me that when I drive a car, I'm driving a 35,000 or 3,500 pound weapon. I can kill people.
Yeah.
He said, so I take it seriously. It's absolutely true. And I think of that every time I get behind the wheel.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it.
Hey, man,
a lot of people don't. Like you said, we were talking about, checking the makeup and text message. You were talking about driving at the beginning.
People forget. We just take it for granted because we're in it all the time. We think, oh, it's safe.
Yeah.
But if you hit somebody, kill somebody, well,
it's not safe.
I mean, really, literally. Yeah. I mean, if I was walking around with a fucking chainsaw, that's it's the same thing.
100%. I get more.
Every day I go to the gym, I encounter at least a couple hundred people on the freeway that I can easily kill. If I make the wrong decision. Or they can kill me. Right. And good thing I'm a good driver.
But no, a lot of the references I'll use is people will say, oh, well, I want to build muscle and I want to do all these things, but they want to train at 5 a.m. And I understand schedules. And you have to do what you got to do. So go to the gym no matter what. But they want to train fasted. And I'm like, okay, but you want to build muscle. So I'm like, would you go into the Daytona 500 on an empty tank of gas? I'm like, you have to have the fuel in the body to perform, whether it be from, I like to front load carbs on like a big lead day. If I'm training in the morning, we train like 10 a.m. on Saturdays.
When's that first load come in?
I try to get one in around 6.
Okay, good. Because if it's like an hour before you go in, I tell people, look, man, you're only getting about 30%.
It depends on my client's schedule, and then if I got fasted cardio, which I'm like, damn, I got to be up at 4 a.m. Not right now. I'm good. I'm saying when we put in cardio.
There's no cardio right now.
Right. Yeah, no cardio. Not yet, anyway. But I try to get a meal in around 6, and then another meal around 9, and then or pre. I might have to sneak one more, like a little snack.
Dude, I'm like hyper responsive to shit. I like just take a couple sips and I'm fucking sweating.
Yeah.
Fucking this is bullshit.
Well, happens.
Same thing happens with a cheat meal.
I told you, I said I was eating my meal today and I'm sitting in the back and I was just started sweating.
Well, I just.
Oh, here we go. It's already kicked in. But my problem is sleep. I get up every 2.5 hours.
I do too.
At night to eat. I have to eat.
Oh, don't do
that. I'm starving.
I know, but try to hold back. You got to get the downtime. It's got to have some digestive downtime.
I'm trying. I can't go back to sleep. I'm hungry.
Really? It wakes you up?
Yeah, especially lately. We basically tripled Tad's food and cut my food in half.
Well, you were eating the fucking box of cereal every day.
It wasn't just cereal. I eat every 2.5 hours if I'm awake. I have long days a lot of times. I'll go from 6 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night training clients.
Well, whose fault is that?
It's mine. I'm not complaining about it. I'd rather do that than not have anybody.
That's true.
It could be.
I know you're in high demand, and everybody who doesn't know, like Zach is. I call him the master trainer. I really do.
Thank you.
I really do. After training with him for like the last week or so, and looking at what he does, you really do know shit.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I appreciate that too, because
so do you. I'm like he'll throw some old school move in. I'm like, man, I haven't done this in a long time. It feels really good. It's different. But it's a good combo.
I think it's kind of funny because when you're in the gym, I see most of the people you train are girls. The bikini competitors. At least
in the morning when you're there for sure. I have a group of 3 guys early in the morning, and then my 9 to 11 is always girls or Kristen.
Okay.
I have her or TJ, which they're both pros, so that's a little different.
Right.
Then I have a couple of bottle girls that come in for some groups, and they just want booty workouts most of the time, but they train hard.
I know.
Everybody I have comes in and gets it.
I like it because I'm watching you working and you're like, you don't fuck around. You're like,
oh no,
you throw it down. I see these other trainers that really fucking irritates me. I see these other trainers in gyms, and what they do is they sit there on their phone, they're doing this shit while this person's working out. Like, why aren't you watching what the fuck this person's doing? Like, how is that training?
And I'm not big on group training, and it's nothing against group trainers. It is, but I don't want to group more than 3.
Right,
because I can't correct, I can't do anything. If they want to come in and get a pump or something, that's one thing. Bring a friend, that's different. But to really train, even 2. if you're really getting after it, like I couldn't train two of you
No.
once. There's no way that could happen. It's what if you get out of angle or something? I mean, but that's getting very specific in what we do too. We're talking about the origins and insertion points and tendons and the way.
Well, you got to look at stuff. This is one thing I tell my clients because I'm not able, because I focus mostly on the nutrition part. Right. I do give people a workout program and we talk about workouts every week.
Absolutely.
But there's only so much you can accomplish when you talk about stuff. I really have to be in there, touching the person, looking at them, watching how
they're great at it.
But
100%.
It's just that it's not. I can't do that. So now
it's a lot easier when I can be like, all right, fire your rear delt, and I can pinch your rear delt. Right. Or you're like earlier on, I grabbed your lower lat, and it was like instant fire.
And
it's knowing the mind muscle connection too, but it's a way to kind of get past if a person's having a problem with in-person training and you're with somebody else and you know that one of us. But when you get into, and I'm a hands-on trainer, and I'm like, hey. This is where I want the muscle to fire. Well, it gives you that, okay, this is where I'm trying to squeeze.
That proprioceptive resuscitation. Right. When you touch the muscle, helps the brain.
Mind muscle connect.
Right, helps you to fire it off better. And that's really, really important.
It is. It's hard. It's the hardest thing.
So if your trainer's just sitting by, just watching you work out, counting while he's texting on the phone, he's not a good trainer.
And if you have the people, but I mean, there's group training and it's different for everybody. If you're just trying to get in the gym.
I'm going to see there's a question here. Let's see if it's a good question. I'm just curious. How are y'all getting so swole? How do we get
lots of food?
The shit that we're talking about. We work out.
No, but it's, I think that's the hardest thing that I've run into. And then some of my terminology, because they're like, well, I tried to look this up on YouTube. And I'm like, well, you're not going to find the way that I do it on YouTube. When you're writing programs for like, if I'm writing it for one of the girls in Nashville. Or,
I know you have some different names for some of the things that I haven't heard for it.
Well, we just make some stuff.
Oh, okay. Which is cool. I was just like, I was like, am I missing out? I'm like, I don't know.
We have one, I have a pro guy that's a classic pro, and we were playing around, and he came up with this angle, and it's just completely different than you use. And I call it a Coley row, because his name's Coley.
Okay.
So that's just, I'm like, you write a Coley row in there, I know it. Anybody that's trained with me knows what it is.
We should come up with a video.
But we have some stuff, I mean, we have some funny names like T-Rex walks, twerk squats.
There we go.
Stripper squats, I mean, and we have all different kinds of.
We should come up with a video library of all these unique.
Oh, let's do it.
This would be fucking awesome.
Well, even the way like we were doing those pullovers today. Reversing the grip and pulling lower. I think a lot of times people aren't using the full capability of the exercise. I mean, they're just like, oh, I saw this, but you can change some stuff. Or like an Arnold press. I see a lot of this. I'm like, okay, yeah, but if you come out wide, you're going to actually recruit lateral head of the delt. You're not just anterior and upper pec. And it's like, I'm like, you do an Arnold press. And then they're like, well, this is how so-and-so trainer told me to do it. And I was like, yeah, but we want to open.
Use your brain. It's okay to be a free thinker.
Be like, the harder it is, you're probably doing it the right way.
That's right. I used to, that was always my modality when I was kind of coming up. I was like, how do I make this harder? How do I make this harder? Because if it's harder, that means I'm recruiting different muscles.
Muscle fiber.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just like the fat growth. Everybody's like, well, why do you use the fat growth?
I love the fat growth.
And I'm like, well, it recruits more muscle fascia, so the whole muscle, not even just in your forearm.
Well, try to grab, have you seen those old barbells? Was it strongman stuff where they have those big,
fat. Yeah.
Fucking 100 pounds, lifting 100 pounds like that is fucking hard. It's not as easy as people think.
But it's not just firing in your forearm. You're using all the muscle fascia with a neurological transmission to the muscle you're engaging. So you're recruiting more muscle fascia, even if you're using a fat grip on a chest press.
Right.
But that was the one he said, we're doing chest flies. And he said, where do you want to start? I said, 30s. He's like, 30s, 50s. Well, we figured out that I'm doing my chest flies out here, and I'm getting a lot of anterior delt instead of coming in tighter and actually squeezing through the pec. And my chest is distorted. I mean, my chest hasn't been this sore in a long time. Well, so thank you.
The last week when we did our back workout, we did something. I think we were working out with Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen trained back.
And it's that.
Which she's not allowed to do anymore because we can't get her back any bigger. It's way too big as it is.
I remember I got home the next day. I never felt the inner part of my trap.
Right.
And so I'm like, and it was sore for fucking 3 or 4 days.
Inner trap and upper rhomboid. It was wrecked.
I'm like, God damn, I should have been doing this shit for years ago. I'm like,
I think it was that supported chest angle.
Which one?
The one where we chest supported on the Smith.
Probably.
I think it was that, and then the way we went straight into the chain row.
It was that one thing too when I started pulling like this.
Oh yeah.
And you guys started
I popped your elbow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit. That's what did it for me.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that was a really.
I'd never done that before. That's actually my chiropractor.
Oh, the why. The why.
That too. My chiropractor told me to do this because he said my shoulder rolls forward. He's like, you got to do this to help pull the shoulder back. And it was like 5 years ago, told me to do that. And I'm just now doing it. But I'm like,
we had one plate on and screaming trying to do holds on it. Basically, you thought we'd have 500 pounds on it.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Today we did back again today, and I was fucking racked after the.
I did too. We did a lot.
But I like that.
Lat pull downs, I was like 150 pounds. So.
And I'm like, I'm glad he's not looking at me like a pussy.
We actually do our workouts the opposite, I feel, of what most people do. Like the way we structure our exercises. Everybody's like, oh, you go in basic back day. They're like, oh, heavy lat pull downs. No, that's a day.
That's bullshit movements.
Right.
Like, no. I want the big. If you want to, like, I've always been known for how wide and thick my back was. So, and I always started off with fucking. If I did lat pull downs first, it was just a warm up.
Well, we talked about rear delts too. You have great rear delts, and you put rear delt with everything. Shoulders. So it's in training. Take it away from train your weak points. When you still have the energy to do them too. It's like somebody wants wider back, but they go straight into a tight row first, but you're not even extending the lat. They stick it.
My logic for always including rear delt movements was this. I noticed that all my friends had rotator cuff problems. All my friends early in the innings, when I was in my 20s, and that the development was very, very front loaded. Upper chest, front shoulders, rear, medial disc, but nothing in the rear because they only worked one fucking exercise for a rear delt. But yet, that's a stabilizing muscle.
Right.
So when you bench, you have that stabilizes this
with the lat in the rear. Yeah, 100%.
So I thought, you know what? I read one little sentence in the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding from Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said that when his shoulders would slope, and he said he had to make sure that his shoulders were round and that they looked like cannonballs. And that he said, always make sure you work your rear delts. Right. And I'm like, you
want this backward. You want the 7. They call it the 7.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's like a 7.
Oh, okay. So I said, well, fuck that. Then let's just do it with everything.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, protect my, and I've never had any shoulder problems, thank God. Like in terms of like rotator cuffs, and I've never had any issues like that. But yeah, I just incorporate with everything because I thought, there's when you work chest, it's like anterior delt.
I hardly ever train anterior delts on shoulders.
Well, I just do it because
I'll do like one as a finisher.
I just do, yeah, exactly. That's the same way I do.
But I typically will go warm up, press movement, and then start at the rear. And I want to exhaust my rears and then work to the front of the shoulder.
Just watch this next time.
All right.
When you get on stage because your shoulders aren't bad. There's nothing but they'll be even better.
Yeah. I have so much scar tissue in my shoulders. I think I'm just building scar tissue and scar tissue and scar tissue.
Did you take a shot?
I did for a long time.
Don't do that. I tell them, don't do that.
We were needling the other night, and I was literally, she was getting so mad because it was like needle, bent. Needle, bent. Couldn't even get it in. We were going in all these crazy angles to go straight in. Yeah. But I'm breaking it up.
Are you taking the vitamin E like I said?
Yes.
Okay, good. So if you take, just so you guys know, 2,000 IUs of vitamin E a day helps your body, it signals your body to reabsorb scar tissue.
Right.
Most plastic surgeons will tell ladies who get augmentation surgery to take this so it reduces the instance of encapsulation. But I've been doing it for years. I don't get a lot of scar tissue. I still have a little bit in some of my quads, but not bad. No, nothing. But it's important. And also, makes your skin look good.
Right. But I mean, mine too, playing football, taking hits in the shoulder and stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
You use a shoulder.
So we were talking about massage.
Grafton.
Okay, but we were talking about massage guns.
Right.
Earlier.
There.
Who do you know? You said somebody locally here.
There's a guy. Hold on. I got to pull this up.
While you're pulling up, I'm going to look and see if there's...
Yeah,
I think somebody had some questions. Hey, guys. All right. Hey, thanks for joining in, guys. All right.
This is Dr. Andrew Bruns.
Your voice so sexy. Was it?
It's Dr. Andrew Bruns, and he has a really good one. It's Portland Health Supply, but we use this one. I really like it. It's a great gun.
Let's see, that looks just like the one I have almost. I mean, it's very similar. But all these guns
the Theraguns are good. You want to get one with obviously multiple speeds.
I have a muscle hammer.
Intensity, yeah.
And it has like 6 speeds. It's great. It just looks like...
I remember the first time I used one, one of my buddies brought his in. He's big boy. And he just had some super dense. He had gotten a jigsaw and hooked a golf ball to it and was just hammering. I was like, I bruised from it, but it broke through it. But he's a big boy. He's a good guy.
That's what you're gonna have to do to break some of that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm grassed, and we're doing all the work.
You're doing it slowly.
No. And then the cupping.
Dude, I just saw this video recently. I think it was a chiropractor. They were doing like this intensive scraping, and the dude looked like he had a fucking sunburn. Like he's all over his back and his back.
The worst though is if
my
you got
God.
hair on your legs, it feels like it's ripping the hair off every time.
That doesn't look like it's fucking fun at all.
No, it's not fun, but sometimes you need it. I mean, not maybe.
Does that hurt your skin?
No, I mean, it's not. I'm a pansy. I need the body work, but I don't love the body work. I'll be the first one to call myself out. I am a baby.
I'm a pussy when it comes to some things, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
I mean, I fight it sometimes. I'm like, no, like ninja. Chop hands away. But
I guess.
But it's something, I mean, really, if you're lifting the way that we do, or you're a competition lifter or something, I think it's something that a lot of people have become more regular now, but it makes huge changes in your physique.
Yes.
And being able to do it. I mean,
I wish I would have
get so bound down training the muscle, opening it back up and doing the work and preventative injury with the strain you're putting on.
I think a lot of people, they don't realize that all the working out, I mean, you're damaging muscle tissue.
100%.
And so there's a lot of scar tissue inside the muscles, a lot of these adhesions,
right, and
they build up over time. And then they actually constrain the ability of nutrients to get in the muscle. And so they constrain growth. So it's just behooves somebody who's really, really wants to, accelerate their physique.
And there's a big learning curve. If you haven't been doing it and you start doing it, a lot of people are like, those first couple of weeks, if you're getting it done regularly, stuff starts shifting back to where your body's been protecting it. You're like, oh man, I feel kind of hurting. And I'm like, I got a little knee pain and stuff. But it's really, you're doing your body the service of getting it back to, because your body's going to protect itself, but it's also going to bind down to protect itself, which isn't always good.
No, yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, I know you've run into it a little bit lately as well.
Well, yeah, man.
But we're going to drop those needles in those legs.
Well, but I've lost so much weight. See, the problem is that I was so heavy.
Right.
And then I maintained about 240. I was normally around 240, 245 year round. That's just, in the off season. And then when I retired, I just dropped my weight. I dropped my weight down to about 205, somewhere around there. That's where I've stayed. Right. And so now that I'm starting
to go back to 250.
But I noticed a distinct difference. Once I got below 210, all of a sudden, all these little nagging things started cropping up. The things like the sort of thing in my shoulder, the rotation of my shoulder, rotation of my hip. This is, I think, and that's why I'm pulling this quad. It's because of the rotation of the hip. I know it. Actually, Joe spotted that out. He's like, "Oh, it's your hip." I'm like, "Fuck yes, that's right." I'm like, "God damn it, the hip. This is the hip that rotates." Anyways, he spotted it out. I'm glad he did because I reminded me. But all these little nagging things started cropping up that I never noticed before because when I had so much muscle, it protected me. No, it protected me.
Oh, I mean, I know coming off this injury, I'm getting muscles to fire that have been so restricted. I'm like, oh, well, wait, why does that feel so much different now?
Is your tricep firing better now?
It's much better. I mean, it's definitely going to be a process. We got some work to do, but it'll come back in to where it needs to be.
Okay, so switch gears a little bit. All right, Super Bowl.
Loved it.
I know you, because you want some money.
Because I want some money.
We got to go to dinner now.
Yeah, we are going to dinner. On me, I told him.
What? So you bet you?
I would Tampa, and the way I looked at it is, and it's nothing against the Chiefs, but you kind of took. They're great. They're great guys. I mean, it was a great team, but they're a young team. And if you look at Tampa,
was it kind of a blowout?
I mean, yeah, it kind of was.
It didn't seem like there was much of.
You can't go against Tom Brady. I'm not even a Brady guy.
I'm not.
But
either.
the guy, I mean, you just don't. And they were riling him up, and he was about. I mean, it pulled him more into the game. When I feel like when the Chiefs, being a football player, I'm like, if somebody starts talking a little shit to me, it's gonna make me. Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show you who I am now, and now you got a problem.
Well, to me, it was kind of a boring Super Bowl because it was kind of predictable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm glad.
I like it just because the way the game was played, looking at the schemes and stuff, different than just looking at it.
What would you have done different? I'm just curious. Being a footballer doesn't.
Nothing.
So my question is this.
I mean, they used their strengths and took Kansas City completely out of their game plan.
So my question is as a football player, is Tom Brady that team? When he leaves, are they going to be going back to the Super Bowl?
They're not going to be as good. That's my thought. But I mean, you look at it, you can say that on any team. I mean, you can put. When you have somebody at that, it's Peyton Manning's the same way.
Right.
I mean, the Colts never would have been as good as they were without Peyton Manning.
Okay.
When you have a quarterback that can literally look at the field, I mean, Brady's going out there and he's looking at the defense and he's like, all right, here's the play I'm going to call based on what you lined up on, not what's coming in from. He'll change the play.
Oh wow.
I mean, when you have somebody at that, it's like having a coach on the field calling the play.
So what do you think is going to happen? So you think?
I'm thinking he's coming back.
He's coming back. Okay. So that means that
I hope he comes back.
Yeah, so you can make that bet.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for him to come back to do one more, just to show it.
Well, after what you showed me today, man, he's fucking partying.
Yeah, he's having a good time. He's not enjoying himself, for sure.
Good for him, too, man. Fucking good for him. He should enjoy that shit.
Now, the trophy toss would have scared me.
I don't want to throw the trophy. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? What if he didn't make it?
He's Tom Brady. He always makes
it.
Or
if somebody didn't catch it.
Yeah, that would
There's a little ding in it, like, oh, that Tom Brady did that shit.
But no, it was a good game. Super Bowl, I think, was big. The first
Who's your
Super
team?
Bowl.
Who's your real team?
I mean, I'm from.
Who's your team that you like to root for? I'm not saying they're going to win.
Honestly,
yeah. Just who's your
I
team?
don't really watch football that much.
Oh, really?
Anymore.
I don't.
I watch it. I really love going to games with my dad and stuff. When I'm back in Nashville, we'll go to Titans games. But I just don't really watch. I mean, it became such a job at that point.
Oh, because you played.
That it was just like. It wasn't just a spectator thing. I'm like, because I'm looking at it a whole different way too. And I just never really got into it. I was like, when I was done playing, I was kind of done with it. I'm like, I'll watch a game here and there.
Did you stop because injury?
Back injury.
Oh, that's right, the low back thing.
But I love the game. I think it's a great game. But I'm just,
I didn't make it. So I didn't make it that far. I played wide receiver in high school, and that was it.
But I mean, it's a good. I think. The things that you can learn from it in any sport, and like we were talking about, like with the corona and everything going on, all this stuff's getting taken away from the youth.
Absolutely,
it's a completely different way, and it's a huge thing.
I mean, look how much football affected your
life. Completely. I mean, in learning discipline and routine and how to be a team, but an individual is yourself, and I mean, I think it's just something.
I really believe.
I feel horrible for some of the kids, what's going to happen because a lot of the smaller schools' funding's going out because you don't have fan attendance to play
That sucks. Sports, as much as it gets criticized for certain aspects of it, it plays a vital role in our society. I mean, all the way back to gladiatorial days.
Oh, yeah.
In ancient Rome, everyone wants to root for the winning team. Everyone wants to be a part of a winning team. We all feel like that, right?
And everybody wants to win, yeah.
Yeah, but more important, it's important, I think, for us to be able to have something that we root for. That we're on a team,
or something to work for if you're playing. Even
absolutely,
even at Pee-wee football.
Well, I know. I begged my mom to play Pee-wee. She fucking wouldn't let me play because she's like, "Oh, you're too small, Dad. You're gonna break your cup." Oh, she went to one game. She didn't tell me this. She went to one game with a friend because my brother I was begging her to go play, and she said that. She said, Tan, she told me this later when I was in high school. She said, Tan, I went to that one game and I was gonna enroll you into Pee-wee, but I went to this one game and one kid got hurt. He broke his collarbone. And I'm like, and she said, I couldn't do that. She said, you would have been so small. I was just afraid you were gonna hurt. I'm like, Mom, fuck. Well,
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a great thing. It's a good outlet. But even so, it doesn't have to be football, soccer, baseball, anything like that. It's just the world's changing and it's.
Well, okay, so that leads me to my next question.
Look at the bodybuilding world.
Right.
Look at the shows this year. People were prepping for shows. Half the shows are gone. New York pros in Tampa. I mean,
not exactly New York.
It's spectators, coaches, number of competitors. How many people went into a prep last year, and then their show got moved 2 weeks out from it.
I had many competitors where it was like, fuck, we got to move this show, man. But I think... I don't know. You're right. I mean, there's an aspect there. There's a social aspect there.
Right.
I mean, sports kind of bring us together. They connect
100%. So even if you're rooting for the other team, it's still there's a camaraderie between even as a spectator.
So what do you like better, professional football or college football? I like college football better. I like watching.
That's a hard question.
It's faster. It's harder.
NFL is way faster.
No, college ball's faster, don't you think?
No, the speed of the game is way faster than NFL.
Oh, that's not the way I read it. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think anytime that you involve money, but you can't say the college isn't money either because if you're at Alabama, you're getting a free college education. You might not even gone or any school. If you're a scholarship player, you're getting a free education. So,
I got to go and
see yourself. It provides an opportunity to a lot of people that they wouldn't have to get an education. I hope everybody takes advantage of that. But I love. There's nothing like watching the SEC, going to an SEC football game.
I like college because when I go to a college game, it's like, I don't know, the energy's different.
100%.
Energy's different, and the players want to fucking play. They're not trying to fucking save their careers. These motherfuckers want to play.
I mean, that is true. But I mean, have you ever been to a game like in the SEC?
No.
Okay, so you go to UT Knoxville back before. There's 110,000 people. I mean, the stadium is
gotta feel
shaking.
Fucking unbelievable.
It's crazy. I mean, those games, and I mean, even Oregon or UW, Pac-12, all that.
I'm an Oregon
guy. Yeah. So
that's my monitor.
So they're. I mean, like I said, I think the whole thing's changing. The dynamic of the game is so different because when you go into a home field, if you go into, let's say, LSU, and you go in and play at LSU.
Why does everybody like LSU?
I'm just saying.
I don't like LSU.
A night game at LSU, though, for the opposing team makes a factor. If you were playing without fans, completely different game.
Oh, totally.
You can't hear. I mean, it's huge.
They feed up the energy of the fans.
Well, I mean, and people don't understand, but you can't hear in the huddle. Like, if you're an offensive player and the opposing team, the fans get so loud, you can't communicate, you can't call audibles from the line, you can't hear on the field.
Don't they have like technology?
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that?
No.
Shit, you should have.
Only the quarterback can have it. To get it from the OC.
From the...
Yeah. But, no.
That'd be pretty rad.
Maybe hand signals. I mean,
that'd be pretty cool.
Hand signals.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Baseball signs on the side.
All right, well, so if I were, I get my favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And I've been a Cowboys fan since I know people are gonna fucking hate me for that, but I've been a Cowboys fan since 1977.
Yeah, you've been a long time.
77, man.
America's
Danny
team.
White,
America's team.
It was more.
Well, I mean, you remember the Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
See, I go way back.
You're before that.
Roger Staubach, Danny White, fucking Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett was my fucking player. I had his jersey. That's who I wanted to be, man. I wanted to be this motherfucker. I just thought he was the shit, you know. But Tom Landry, the coach,
right?
He's the coach. He's my epitome of like what a coach should be.
Right.
He plays until the very end. I hate when I see these motherfuckers give up. They know they're not going to win, so they just kind of give up. I'm like, man,
you got to play to the end.
You got to play to the end, man. Like,
I hate seeing people give up on plays too.
I don't like that.
I
don't like that.
You never know. It can be different.
I know. But I don't know. I just feel like if you're in the game, man, you're in there for the game.
True.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
I don't want. If I'm going to lose by 50, I'd rather lose by 40.
That's true. But I mean, sometimes you're just that outplayed. But
I get it. But man, that's the.
But I know. I mean, it's hard too. I mean, taking a beating that bad is not fun.
Opportunity to shine, man. Because everyone else is giving up, and I'm gonna look like a badass. Yeah. That's the way I figure.
100%.
What do we have? I think that we were going to talk about something else too today. I can't remember what it was.
Oh. I didn't even know we had a game plan for today. I thought we were just rolling with it.
We always do. Yeah. But yeah. So what we were no.
Oh, I want to know some people that you would like to see on the podcast with us. That's a huge. Oh, and then maybe looking for a logo.
Oh, that's right. You had a good idea with this logo thing. So tell everybody about the logo.
All right. So here's what I'm thinking. We would like you guys. We're coming up with it's bourbon, beards, barbells, and bullshit. We want to make B4 a logo for the show to kind of brand it and some of the stuff that we're going to be doing together, seminars, etc. So what we said is let's do like a giveaway kind of thing.
Yeah, let's do a giveaway. We'll
submit your ideas for a logo, and it doesn't have to be like a professional thing, just an idea.
Just an idea. If you have a drawing, great. If you don't, that's great too.
And we're going to go through, and we said what we would do is a free month of coaching from us.
That's right.
Nutrition, whatever you go. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't. It can be anything.
It could be weight loss. It could be any
transformation, overall health for the winner. So we will go through and pick our favorite one, and we'll use that. That'll be our logo. We'll use the logo for the podcast and for some of the other
what do they got to do?
We
got to tell them what they got to do.
So they have to follow your personal account, follow my personal account, and then repost the thing. We'll put it on our Instagram, and repost it in your story.
Yeah. Exactly. So my Instagram is at Tad the Diet Coach, and yours is
at King Forza Fit. Forza Fit. KingForzafit.
What is
King Forza Fit.
Tell everybody.
Okay, so I have a company, Ink and Iron, which is our main training company that I started with one of my best friends who actually passed away. And then we decided to make a competition team out of it, which was Forza. So that's the Italian word for strength and iron.
Because you're Italian.
Yes.
Right. Everybody mistakes me.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, everybody thinks I'm Italian. When I was back, when I lived
I can
back
see
east,
that. But you're not.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I'm not.
Right.
I'm like fucking everything else. But I'm not that.
Right.
My wife was Italian.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernadette, she was like.
So we did that, and that was kind of how we just went with it, and that's what I've been rolling with for years.
Okay. So submit your entries to either Zach or myself. Just DM us.
And we'll do some more. We'll come up with a little post about it, and we'll have that out for the next couple of weeks.
Right, exactly.
And what did we say? Like mid-March, give it 4 weeks?
Give it like a month. Maybe.
Like a month, yeah.
Just so we get a few entries and see. And then, of course, we want you to, what did you say? You were submit the entry and then
follow
us.
Both of us, and then repost it on your story. And
right.
You'll be qualified.
You'll be entered.
Put in the pool, and then, like I said, it's a free month.
If you
full on.
Which means, like for me, I give a full spectrum kind of thing. I give, you'll get a diet, and I'm very, very specific with everything. So like meals, specific foods, specific times, specific supplements. We'll give you a training program, everything, and it's all geared towards you.
And you'll get the interaction just like a full-on,
just like a regular client,
like a full-on client. So you'll have access to us, questions, unlimited, anything.
So for me, on my monthly clients, my monthly group, that's about a $600 value.
It's about the same for me.
So,
for the online stuff, yeah.
Which is, and that's pretty. I think that's pretty generous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good, and it like I said, you can be a brand new person in fitness. You can
be just some dude in your garage, man, thinking of good ideas, man.
Anything.
If we use it, we want to have we just want to have a nice logo, something that's cool that really fits the genre of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. We talked about what we did, and so
we gave weekly update.
So coming up. We have
topics you want to hear, and people you would like to see on the show.
Yeah, exactly. And today,
on the show.
I wanted to actually talk about one drug thing.
Okay.
So growth. So I'm a big fan of growth hormone. I'm also a big fan of IGF-1. If I was to have my pick of the two,
you would go IGF-1.
I would go IGF-1.
But does growth not also spike IGF-1
Absolutely.
production?
It's what you want.
So I was doing some research on this too. Actually, the past couple of days. And I think it can be manipulated in what the time of day is a big one. Mm-hmm. What time of day should you be taking it? And then what other compounds, when you're running other compounds like insulin, if you were running insulin, it might need to be different than if you were not.
Right. Nolvadex makes a difference too.
Yeah, Nolvadex.
Because Nolvadex will decrease your own natural IGF-1 production.
And then the injection, the way that you inject it, whether it be sub-Q or intramuscular. And everything that I researched was pretty even. They said that sub-Q maintained a little bit longer on IGF-2 production.
So the raw data says this, that when you take an injection, sub-Q or intramuscular, when it comes to GH, the diffusion rates are almost the same. Right. So which means blood levels become the same, which means that it really has almost no really. But
difference.
You will have a slightly longer effect when you do sub-Q because it takes a little bit longer for it to
absorb.
Right. Okay. But I've always done, historically, my whole life, I've always done intramuscular because I didn't want
That's what I've been doing.
You can
get little knots and irritation. You get irritation. It's like a bee skin kind of look. Exactly.
And if you're buying Chinese stuff,
right, generic,
that it can be, some of the impurities can actually cause a little irritation.
Right.
And the last thing you want to see is like little lumps and bumps.
Exactly.
On stage, if you're like super lean,
right,
it's going to show up. So I tell people, just hit your glutes, hit your quads. Don't think about it.
Okay, so big muscles, not smaller muscles.
You can do it, but I've never done like shoulder. I can't do them. The reason why is because I'm so highly vascular.
I put it in my bicep before.
See?
Oh yeah.
See that bruise?
Yeah.
That's from just insulin.
Okay.
If I do sub-Q, it's always bruising. I'm just too vascular.
Right.
If I did my shoulders, if I took shoulders, I'm going to bruise. Okay. I remember in my early 30s, I was trying to do my GH injections in my shoulders, but I would get these quarter-size fucking
knots.
No, bruises. And how I can't explain that in the gym when I'm working out.
No. It's like, what's that blood dot on your shirt?
No, it's a fucking size of a quarter.
Right.
on my shoulder. So I said, no, I'm just going to. So I never.
All right, so let me ask you this. Timing. When would you say to take it? I know I'm doing mine morning and night.
What's the goal?
Let's say lean bulk. Off season, going into pro.
Okay.
Let's say like what I'm doing right now.
First thing in the morning, before night.
Okay.
Right, before you go to bed.
And lighter in the morning and more at night, correct?
Yeah, or you could reverse it.
Okay.
But
and tell them kind of what.
But for you,
okay,
we wanted to spike. We want a higher GH spike at night because that's when you have. That's the time when your body naturally has this big spike,
right? And
it naturally wants to liberate fat.
Okay.
That's when like babies do it, we do it.
Right, absolutely.
Because we're not supposed to, unlike you, we're not supposed to be eating at night.
Exactly. All right, so here's my second question. And I'm asking you questions that I want to know your take on, because obviously we might have a little bit, I agree with everything you've said so far. Women on growth hormone. Competitors. What do you feel like the uses are, dosages?
The dosages don't have to be quite the same.
Okay.
But GH is one of those things. It's not like gear.
Right. No, I know. Exactly.
So
this is just a question I get asked a lot with females that run gear or competitors and stuff. So I wanted your take on it.
So so it's usually a 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
So like if I recommend, so it's like a big bodybuilder, something like yourself or someone like myself. If you said no holds barred, okay, then you're prepping for a show, I would say we're going to do 10 IUs of growth.
Right.
5 in the morning, 5 at night. If it was a woman, same caliber, 4 or 3.
And 2 and 2?
3 and 3 or
3 and 3? Okay.
Yeah, that would be the top end. That's the top end. But if you were just a competitor and you wanted to get the value from it, you're going to get probably 75% of the value.
Right.
If you did 4 and 4.
I think we
or
froze.
3. It just looks like
okay. So here, in touching on this, and this is going to be a whole nother topic, but I just want to touch on it. The thing that's scary to me right now is looking at not only the amount of gear that's being put in on males by some coaches, and we start talking about that, but in, like, Kristen's a good example, looking at some of the protocols I've seen other female wellness competitors or female competitors being put on right now.
The volume?
It's a lot. And the amount of...
Look at those Brazilian chicks.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about. And the amount of plastic surgery that's going into, which I think is just...
It's cheating, man. Some of the booty implants and stuff like that's not good. And so as a pro judge, I can't.
Needle, scrape, cup. But I even seen some of them have these huge suction cups this big, sucking their ass up into it, the whole butt cheek.
Oh my God.
Or going and getting, they'll post injecting like basically synthol into their ass at this point.
Oh man.
And it's getting to that extreme that it's like, how much is too much? And then as an IFBB judge,
as a judge,
then because let's say wellness in bikini, you still want to look like a woman, and I'm seeing jawlines harder than mine when I'm dieting down. And I'm like, this isn't in it. And I also have a personal investment in this. And I'm like, okay, well, to be able to compete, what are you looking for? And then what is too far? Because I'm looking at so a girl had messaged me, and she'd gone to one of the Brazilian coaches, and she wanted to stay as minimal as possible. And he said, I will not work with you unless you're running this. And the protocol that was given was something I wouldn't take.
What was he telling you?
It was like, I would have to look at exactly what it was, but it was an insane amount of Primo.
Okay.
Over 50 milligrams of Anavar a day. Growth was basically at 10 or more. Insulin, it was, the Primo was over 400.
Okay, so I see what they're doing. I know what they're doing. So they're using low energetic stuff, but they're using crazy amounts.
Yeah, insane amounts.
I understand this. I get what they're trying to do, and
I understand behind it, but still, I'm looking at it like,
well, so for women, well, as a judge, let me say that as a judge.
Yeah, let's talk about it as a judge and then as a coach.
So as a judge, when I look at the stuff and I see the women on stage, it's got to look natural.
Okay.
So the butt implants, all that shit. If I see that, and I've questioned competitors. As a matter of fact, I questioned one recently who messaged me, said, "Hey, let me see some pictures."
Yeah,
and
we talked about this.
Yeah, I was like, "Do you have butt implants?"
Yeah.
So you have glute implants? Because I said that's no good. I said it looks like you do, but she just was flexing her glutes the wrong way.
Right.
That's all it was. But I said because you're going to get judged. I'm going to judge you down. You're not going to win in my book. And because we're not allowed to. Technically, we're not really allowed to You can't reward that.
Right.
Exactly. But so it's got to be. If you're going to do site injections, oil, if you're going to do butt implants, all this stuff, it better look like it's you.
Right.
It better not look like you did injections. It better not look like you did.
I mean, I've heard about ab plates at this point going on in South.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
I'm trying to think, man, what are they on the cutting edge of like fucking surgery stuff?
Oh, I mean, but it's, they'll be posting on their Instagram going and getting injections, like the lip plumper injected in their butt,
I don't get
all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, how far do we have to take it to be competitive at this point?
Well, yeah, especially when most of those ladies you never see.
Yeah. I mean,
you never see them. Like they're not going to, the ones who are winning are the ones who really, really are sort of, they don't have all that stuff. Well, some of them.
50-50.
I mean, again, it has to look fairly natural. It can't look like.
I mean, and I know figure and the other classes is a whole different
because I'm
going
to tell you, like 80 to 90% of the pro open bodybuilders, they use some kind of side oils. They use to a certain degree, but it's not overdone to the point where it's going to make him look like, you see those guys who look all fucking.
It doesn't. It's very minimal to bring up a weak point or something. Probably
it's just to accentuate things and fill some gaps in and to make them look more complete. I get that. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. But when you rely on it to become your physique, that's not bodybuilding. That's not
absolutely.
But as a coach, when I look at that stuff, I would say, I understand the philosophy, what these guys are trying to do.
Absolutely.
But it tells me that really, do they care about these women's health?
No. Well, no.
Because I mean, like, I know. That's my point. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, is that really the right tactic you want? Do you want to win at all costs? Do you want to? I don't know.
And do you need that much to give the look that they're wanting? Is the question. I mean,
well, it's like you said before. Like, if you got to use all this shit just to like win a local show, is this really your sport?
Is that really for?
Or do you? I mean, like,
and I'm talking about this aside from. I mean, including the Olympia or the Arnold or something. I mean, I understand that's a whole nother level, even in the pro bodybuilding or competitive world, but still even there, like, how far do you take it?
Well, that's a good question. How far? Well, I mean, like, if you ask most people who are competitive, this being a sport, people take it as far as they need to take it.
Right.
And I remember being in my 20s and early 30s thinking, I'll do whatever fucking it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. But I get it. So, but at 50, I'm like, okay, well,
that's me. I come up with a moral issue on it sometimes too. And this isn't. Let me say this. I'm not specifically talking about Kristen in any way. I'm talking about all clients that are females. I look at it a little differently because I'm like, okay, this 23-year-old might say, hey, I'll do anything. All I care about is winning. Well, when you're 32 and it affects your life later or reproduction or your voice has changed
or you shave more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, and how far do you take it without, I try to educate. And I'm like, if this is how far you want to go and this is what you want to do, we'll do it. But look, I can't promise you you're not going to have these issues.
Right.
And I mean, even in bodybuilders, you can take it into bodybuilders. I mean, some of these guys are running a lot of stuff. And if you're aware of it, and when I was in my early 20s, I probably would have been the same way. Looking at it now, I'm like,
I know.
And like I said, I went into this as a minimalist, and I look at things differently for myself than I do my clients too.
I think one of the things that a person who's just getting into this, who's just getting into this stuff, who's younger, who's listening to us right now, you're 36, I'm 50, and we've been at this for a little while. And the takeaway that I would take away is that, look, I thought the same way too.
Right.
You did too. We all did. And now we've changed our perspective to a certain degree because you can accomplish so much more if you just take a mediated approach.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I would say that is just a bit of info. And I'm not saying either one of us, but when you're looking for a coach, take that into effect. If it's somebody that's like, hey, we're going to eat chicken and white potatoes and you're going to do 2 hours of cardio and we're going to dump all this gear on you and give you Clinton T3 until you're shredded, might not be the best coach to go with.
I'm gonna pause
it greatly.
Sorry.
And what we don't look at is that it can cause a lot of injury.
Which was as
well. So right here we said synthol shouldn't be allowed. I really think it's being abused, and I mean I think it is being abused greatly.
Most of the pros that I know who use it, they don't talk about it, but they don't abuse it like that.
Right.
It's just.
So I said it's very small. It's very.
So there's a couple ways you can use synthol. So you can use it to accentuate during competition. Right. Or you can use it to help you overcome sticking points during the off season.
And then doesn't synthol increase the caloric value intake that you have to have?
What do you mean? Say that.
There was some research done. Actually, Hunter was the one that was telling me about this with using the synthol in the muscle, and there's some compound that they're using that's increasing caloric intake.
Oh, I have not read this.
I'll get that one for next week. I'll get all the research on that one.
So I've used it when I was in my early 30s to test it out when it first started coming out. So I had to try it out. I tried it on small muscle groups, calves, arms, and I can tell you it does work really nicely. But its biggest value is this. It's not to. I don't think the big value is using during competition time.
Right.
The big value is using the off season to help stretch the fascia.
Okay.
So and it's temporary. So here's what happens. So fascia is that
absolutely
that tissue that surrounds the muscle, and it constrains growth. So some people, let's see, I don't know. You have fairly tight fascia, but it's not that bad. But if you look at mine, it's very super loose. It's because all of my body's like that. So I've never really needed it because my fascia is really loose.
But you can use the fascia blasters. And
you can use that. Yeah, you can use the scraping and all that stuff. But when you use it, what I noticed was it absolutely you get this artificial, you get swelling because you get some irritation.
Right.
So you get swelling, and as you're adding oil, you're increasing volume. And so what that does is it actually increases the amount of material that can go into the cell.
Right.
And that's the key.
So it's like cellular volume, cellular growth.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so the oil will actually just diffuse and be eliminated from the body within 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
So, but it's being replaced with new muscle with
tissue. So it's like expanding a chamber to allow something in. So it's like if you take a balloon and you blow it up, then you can allow more
stuff in there. Right.
Okay.
And that's what I found like the back because it helped me get beyond. I was always concerned about my arms. I was like, I gotta get bigger arms and bigger arms. And I want to get these 20-inch arms. And so I remember I was stuck. I felt like I was stuck.
Right.
And so when I used it for about 3 months, man, it helped me go past that sticky point. But then psychologically, I knew, okay, I can grow.
Right.
So so it just I've never used it since, but I didn't like it since. I didn't really like it.
I've never really had run-ins with it. That's the one thing I haven't.
It's not
personally. I can't really talk on it. I've known a lot of people that have used it before.
It works.
I know some pros. I mean, I can see the difference in people when it works.
Have you seen those little synthol fuckers? Those little synthol monsters that.
There's some crazy ones. Now I have tried. I'd have to get the name of it. It's not synthol. It's another one that it spans, but it's only it lasts for like a week.
Ethiclean?
Maybe.
It's like a steroid?
Yeah.
Yeah, from France. It was older one. I used that too. I've used that too. The only problem with it, these guys used to use it 90s before shows. The problem with it is that it causes a little bit of water diffusion in the sub-Q. So you can't. It's hard to use when you're before a show.
Right.
Because it will make. I noticed because I always have splits in my biceps
all the time,
and I didn't have them when I used this.
Okay.
So I was like, ooh,
filled out.
Yeah, it just like smoothed me out on my arms. Although I didn't look puffy, but compared to what I know I should look like,
it wasn't where you should be. You couldn't get the conditioning,
and it didn't make my arms that much bigger. What was that?
Guys, but the problem is that it often causes scar tissue within the muscle.
That's right. And scar tissue is a bad setback.
That's what we were just talking about with my shoulder. If you have a bunch of scar tissue, the muscle's not going to grow.
Because drains the muscle, and it won't actually function the same way. So I never liked it. And scar tissue is one of those things. We're going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
Adhesions and stuff is natural. But when you're sticking with these depot sites, even using testosterone and these things, you really got to be cognizant of being able to helping your body eliminate that scar tissue, which is why I said use vitamin E and doing lots of massage work and break up that tissue.
I really like the scraping with it. I do. I think.
I know when Kristen did the scraping, it was the first time I ever had done on me. And I was like, fuck, that kind of hurts.
Yeah, but the pump after, it does loosen. I mean, it's just like, the whole part of it too is getting into the muscle to release the binding down of it. It's just a tool to try to help.
I mean, I'm all down for it. I wish that I'd known.
I mean, the needling does the same thing.
I really dig the needling.
I mean, as much as I hate it happening to me while it's happening, it's pretty awesome.
Ethiclean was
yes in the 90s.
It was. I used it in the 90s. I tried to try it out.
Right.
I wasn't impressed because it didn't change my physique. Right. I was like, I look better without it.
Yeah, this was late 20s. I was like, I had a coach that was just like, try this, did a little thing.
There's another.
I pretty much at that time I'd try anything.
There's another one that's like Ethiclean, but it's not a steroid. It's similar. It's injected. It's used for I think fetal.
And isn't there the lip plumper that girls get in their lips, the plumping agent? I think guys are using that.
Oh, really?
Somehow. Yeah, into the muscle though. Same kind of idea. It's some type of. Like I said, I wasn't prepared to do this one right here. I need to do a little bit of research. There's a bunch of different compounds now that people are using.
When a guy or a gal gets on stage and the body looks clean, the muscles look crisp and clean,
smooth, yeah.
Then you just can't. It's better for it to be slightly smaller and be crisp and clean,
right? Or you get this huge quad.
A good example, your buddy. He did really, really well at the Olympia this year. Akeem.
Yeah.
Akeem.
Looked great.
Previous years, his physique was very muddled.
Right.
Shit ran together, but now he's looking crisper, much more better.
Just his highlights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he can't help it. But he's actually a fucking phenomenal bodybuilder.
And great guy. Super nice. So nice.
He's one of the guys I've never met.
So nice.
Yeah, I've never met him.
Super nice. Very knowledgeable.
Let's have him on the show.
Yep, I will.
I think I really, really think he's done
a lot of, and surprisingly, a lot of times you see a lot of these guys put out, like if he's a bodybuilder, he puts out great bodybuilders. I've seen some of his girls. His girls look amazing. Oh, he's a bunch of his.
I didn't know he coached.
Look really, really good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, really good. So
who's some of the coaches you like? We should have some coaches.
Oh, there's so many, so many of them.
There's so many coaches.
There's so many coaches. Hypertrophy coach.
Okay,
I really like him. He did Terrence.
No, I know. We talked about him.
We talked about him. I really like his training philosophy.
Okay. Who is he? Where's he from?
I don't know. He's just one of the guys I read all his info, check all his stuff out. Honestly, he's a guy that I'll go through and he does some posts. He does a lot of good information on it, research it. He does more of the Poliquin style training.
Okay.
A lot of time under tension, giant set volume, that kind of stuff.
What do you think of dog crap?
It's not bad. It's not what I like. I've done a program.
I don't like
it.
I fucking hate it. I don't like high intensity. I don't like dog crap.
For me personally, I didn't respond great to it.
I didn't either. I tried it.
I tried it too.
For 2 years. Nah.
Wasn't a huge fan.
No.
For me. I think, but different styles work well for different people.
I think probably, just judging from just this first week and a half or so of training, that we probably have very similar fiber distribution.
Agree.
Because I grew up from the same things.
Yeah.
And I didn't grow from that.
I felt beat up.
Yeah. And I didn't feel like I was getting if I feel beat up, I want to feel like I'm getting something from
it. One of the ones that I liked, Big Rick, who I took.
Oh, Matt Jensen. Yeah, Matt Jensen's good. Matt Jensen's good. Yeah. I actually got the chance to sit down and have dinner with Matt.
That's what you told me, yeah.
At the Olympia and with
He's
him.
putting out a lot of good people right now.
So the only criticism I have, Matt, sorry, Matt, I'm going to give you criticism because I always throw honesty here. I just think he has, I love Sean Clarita, and he and Sean are good buddies. He's a nice guy. I love him to death. I've always supported him, and I love what Sean's doing I love what Matt Jensen's doing with Sean. But I would say that, man, hold back on some of the sight stuff on the shoulders. Let's smooth those things out. No. I get it. I totally get why he's doing it. But I do think that Matt probably could reduce the gear load a little bit.
Nick
Walker. Oh. I like Nick's a big dude.
Yeah.
But is his physique ugly. I just don't like his physique. That's just a personal thing. Right. I think he's a great bodybuilder. Nothing wrong with him.
And we talked about this, even in the bodybuilding lines. You like that tight waist, V-taper, X-frame.
Crisp. Everything's crisp. It's clean. It looks nice. I think bodybuilding should be pretty to a certain degree.
Right.
I mean, unless you're the only person I would say, there's a couple of people that are exceptions to this. I do Dorian Yates.
Yeah.
He's not a pretty bodybuilder, but he's fucking impressive.
Yeah, he's impressive.
And Branch Warren. I was never a Branch Warren fan, but as I got to know him,
the mass monster look.
Especially as I got to know him and I got to see what kind of person he is and how he trains, this dude created a championship physique out of sheer willpower.
Oh yeah,
he's got no genetics for the shit, but he created it. Same thing with Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, no genetics. I'm sorry, the dude's. I mean, he's not really that genetically gifted for bodybuilding, but just through sheer effort,
destroyed.
There's big jokes about him actually. Back in the day in the '90s, when in LA he would train, he would come down and would train with all the guys like Dennis James and all these guys, and they would go and they would come to the gym at Gold's Gym, Venice, and they would say, "Hey, where's Jay? Where's Jay?" And they're like, the joke was always, he's in the back eating his meal because he fucking didn't skip any meals.
Never.
He was always on point. He's like, he didn't go out.
He did everything perfect.
Everything. He's like, I'm going to be a champion, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I respect him for that.
One guy who I loved training with was Big Rick, who did Hank. He did the Brahms periodization module.
Okay.
The periodization module, but he did it on an oscillating curve. So you would do like ABC workouts.
Okay.
So with the strength increase, weight repetition down, but then you would have these A, B, and C level workouts, and he would do it based on. I trained with him every day. Me and Trace, one of my training partners, literally trained every night with him, and
that's awesome.
It was some of the worst workouts of my life, but he could read you, and he would say,
do you think Blessings is a better physique? He's not freakier, that's for sure.
Abu. Yeah. He's got a surprisingly fucking good physique.
He does.
He's just a goofy motherfucker, and I like that about him.
But anyway, so it would be like a C workout. You might go in for a leg day, but it would be 3 different exercises, 10 sets of 20 nonstop.
Oh, wow.
All volume. But then the next week it would be leg extensions till you couldn't walk, and then you got to go squat. So
that's like Tom Platt's.
Dude, it's 100% that old school. But it was all based on, he did a really good read on how he could have 5 minutes talking to you, get ready for the workout, while you're strapping up, figuring out where you really were at and how far he was going to take you.
Wow.
If you puked, you got ice cream after the workout, though. So
Juan Morel, he's always like, once you puke, now it's a party.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. It's a party. Yeah.
I have never puked in a workout. Now,
you haven't trained quads with me yet, though.
No. But I'll tell you my quad,
I already know.
My quad workouts when I was younger and my legs were much bigger. I love training quads.
It's my favorite body part.
It was my favorite body part.
I love quads.
And I remember everyone in my working place to fucking hate. He's like, oh man, we got to fucking work out.
I said the only thing I hate is walking lunges. I hate walking.
I never did those. What I did was, I was first warm up with it. It was a very simple routine. I did it for several years, and I blew my quads blew up 33 inches around, easy each one.
Right.
I was squatting 705 for triples.
I can't do that. That's not ever going to happen.
I would do leg extensions. I would do 4 sets. That was really just a warm up. Right. I wouldn't rack it. I would just go as heavy as I could for like 20 reps a piece.
Right.
And then I would jump on the squats, and I would go 135, 225, 315, 405, or was it? Yeah, 405, 495, and then I would go 585, and then I would go back down. And each one of those sets, the first set was 50 reps, 30 reps, 20 reps, 20 reps, 20 reps, and then I would go back down. Everything was at least 20. And then at the end of the 135, the last set, I would go till I couldn't do it anymore. It was usually like 40 reps.
Oh, man.
And then I would get on the hack squat machine, the sled.
I love that.
And I would do 3 sets of 20 reps, and I would go to 5 plates. Boom, 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 and then I would crawl out of the gym.
It's about. I do a little bit differently, but we'll save that for.
I just thought
that was video that one.
I was like, man, that was the way. But man, I don't know if my knees could take it these days.
Fuck. Oh yeah, I couldn't go that heavy with my back. No, I have to train smart. I really do like the reverse bend hack.
Oh okay.
I really like that one.
Charles Glass sort of style. Yeah, he can wear that.
He has some good stuff.
Charles is a mechanical engineer by trade. Okay. So what he did was he converted. He just took it into bodybuilding. He's a really interesting fellow. He
has some great stuff.
You talk about someone who's a genius at finding angles. He really is. Yeah, he really is. Really great guy. It's too bad he's losing his eyesight. He's practically blind now.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's practically blind. Yeah. He has to wear these big glasses. I know he wears the big old glasses. Yeah, I mean, he's just getting older. Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing him.
He's still at Venice Golds.
Oh, yeah. He what was it? Do you remember that movie, Demolition Man?
Yeah. We talked about
it. Yeah, he's fucking in this movie. Yeah. And then so is Will Harris.
Right.
You remember Will Harris?
Yeah, I know
The World. That dude's a weird motherfucker.
All right.
He worships Satan. I'm not shitting. He worships fucking Satan. Okay? Yes, he worships Satan. And he makes no bones about it. He's written articles about it. He's like, and he's gay.
Right.
He's like, and he likes younger white boys. He's fucking hilarious to watch him eyeball these motherfuckers. It is hilarious. Oh yeah. It was just fucking hilarious. Right. But he's always nice. He's always been nice to me. I don't have any problem with it. But I just think it's kind of funny that this world's filled with all kinds of unique people. Hey man, good for him. Man.
But there's plenty that are to each their own for sure.
Let's see. So we've covered just about everything today.
Yeah, we have.
I do these learning sessions with some of my clients where I do.
Right.
We talk about cheat meals. So I haven't asked you this, but what has been your take on cheat meals? Do you do them? I
use them. I've been using them cleaner as a front load for quads because I train quads Saturday morning. So we'll go eat all you can eat sushi on Friday night, and I just smash.
What do you do? I mean,
and honestly, when I'm doing it, I feel way better because I'll have I train 3 clients on Saturday morning, then scrape and go train. We've been going over to Muscle Factory actually in Tempe, great gym. PT Joe's a great gym, but just being inside and being somewhere where you're not working is nice sometimes. But
it's nice to have a change of pace.
But I'll only get 2 meals in, and I typically like to train with 3 at least.
Dude, you sound just like me, fatigued.
You're the one that wants to train early in the morning. I'm like, damn, I have to get up at 4.
I feel good with 1 meal. Boom.
No, I gotta have at least minimum 2. But for quads, I like to have 3. But I've gotten away with I can eat less in the morning and still have the energy from filling up the glycogen storage.
Somebody likes the meals. Something about SARMs. What the fuck does it say?
Let's do it. We'll get on that one another one. We'll get on. That's a whole.
SARMs. I have some pluses and minuses with the
same. But I'll glycogen load, carb load the night before.
Okay.
And then I can get away with a little less in the morning and not have as much heavy on my stomach going straight into the workout. Because sometimes they're.
When you once you start eating, our bodies switch over some of these energy mechanisms. So we start to become. So when we don't eat, we fast for extended periods of time. The body goes into.
I don't ever fast. I just wake up all night.
I know. You're eating all the time, which is why I'm telling you this because our bodies actually go into it starts to release energy at a much higher rate.
Okay.
And it's on purpose because these bodies that we live in are prehistoric. We've only been civilized for a couple of maybe 2,000 years. It's not enough to evolve. So essentially, we're living prehistoric bodies, but we live in a civilized society. So we don't have to work for our food, and we don't have to do the same things that we had to do to get our food before. Right. And so our bodies grew 87,000 years on this planet in this hominid form. We have evolved to be able to release energy when we don't eat. So, but once we start eating, our bodies actually can release less energy. It frees and it wants to really. Its job is to store those nutrients and store that energy for future release. So if you're always eating, and that's the signal to the body is the liver starts to process things. Right. So supplementation, any supplements, any herbs, anything that has caloric value or a nutrient value, with the exception of water, is going to start the liver to start doing stuff. Okay. And so then it starts to release less energy and start to the action of storing those energies, start to partition those nutrients and where it needs to go. So that's the reason why if you really know how to fast, if you're really fasting, then people wake up and they have more energy before they eat. But this morning I woke up and I could tell my metabolism did something.
But see, with the metabolism, so the way that I look at it, and so we'll have a little discussion on this and then we'll finish. So the way I look at it is the body's a survival mechanism. So no matter what, it wants to survive. It doesn't care about building muscle. It doesn't care about how much we're benching or whatever. Exactly. It just wants to survive. So if I'm constantly giving my body what it needs, then my body is more likely to store, as long as we're eating clean. Now, if I'm eating cheeseburgers all day long, it's a little bit different. But you're going to store less.
What's up?
He said no songs. Hunter's going to go on a tangent on this one. I already know. We need to have him on one night.
We'll get him on.
Get a kid for us in view. But so if I'm constantly giving it what it needs, it won't be storing the fat the same. Because that's typically the way that the body's going to store energy that it needs, that if it doesn't going to go. So a lot of times people ask me how I diet, and I feed a shit ton of food, as you're seeing, because I want to feed you 5 times as much food as I am right now. I just start on the low end. And they'll be like, well, how are you this lean, but you're eating 800 grams of carbs? But I keep my fat super low when I'm doing it. And right now is a bad example because I've been sitting on the couch and eating 3 meals a day. When I can eat 3 clean meals at 2,000 calories a day and hold more fat than 6,000 calories a day eating every 2 hours. Okay. But my metabolism runs so fast. So the way that I look at it is the body, and carbs are the only thing, the more you get, the faster your metabolism is going to run. It's like pouring gas on a fire. So if I'm constantly feeding it what it needs, the body's more not in survival, fight or flight, though.
You got to qualify that. It's not, if the wrong kind of carbs can stimulate the body to actually store fat. So,
true. I mean, as long as within nutrition guidelines on what we're doing with blood sugar manipulation and all that. But if you're eating constantly feeding it, the body's more likely not to be storing fats or the nutrients because it knows it's going to get it. So this is just for a competition person trying to get lean in that way, to where you can eat food, you're not starving, your muscles are fuller, you have more glycogen storage, but you stay leaner with more food in if you're constantly going. Because then if I go for a 4 or 5 hour period, your body can have, well, not sleep. I'm not talking about sleep, but if you start the day, do your cardio, eat every 2 to 3 hours.
I have problems with people going too far after they wake up. I really want fasting to be mostly when people sleep.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify because the way that it was coming was like I eat all night, which I know I need more sleep to get because I never get into REM sleep.
Really. Yeah, that can really be bad. And that's the restorative stuff. That's the stuff that makes the body grow.
Absolutely.
So, but I get it. I thought I put on your program melatonin at night.
No,
and your summer sheet. It's on the summer sheet.
Is it on there?
Sure.
Okay, I might have missed that one. Okay.
And the reason why I put
I do that anyway.
Okay.
I'll still wake up starving.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't.
We're gonna have to combat this.
Okay.
One. Yeah.
We'll get it right because even on a prep, like when you prep, like coming close to the show, you still wake up and.
Evidently, I've been talking in my sleep lately.
Oh really?
Okay, so all right, we're gonna end on this one, but I'm gonna call myself out. I'm gonna make a fool of myself. So there's this video, and we have Zeus is our dog. We have an American Bulldog, and there's this video on Instagram, and it's these people showing their puppies, and they're saying, "Oh, that's my baby doggy. Oh, that's my baby dog." And there's this like little dance to it. So evidently, I was sleeping the other night, and Kristen had gotten up to go to the bathroom or something. I'm laying there with the dog, and she comes back, and I'm going, "Oh, that's my baby dog." And I'm dancing with the dog in the middle of the night in my sleep with him laying on my head.
Oh shit!
She was just like, and I was like, "Why'd you leave me on the couch last night?" Like I woke up on the couch with Zeus on my head. She's in the bed, and she's like, "I have to tell you this story. You were dancing and singing to the dog in the middle of your sleep."
She got a video of that shit.
No, she couldn't do it.
Oh man, that would have been awesome. We could play on the podcast.
But no, I mean, it's a thing. We're going to have to figure this out. And I give off diets in my sleep too, and do workouts. I'll be like in my sleep doing clamshells and sit-ups and going through workouts. I'll be like, I've been at shows, and my buddy's been at a show with me. And I'm like, no, eat more rice cakes. Just 2 more rice cakes and peanut butter. Dead asleep. No clue.
Okay,
giving out people's diets.
When we get you ready for the USAs, I'm gonna be in your hotel room because
it's gonna be fun.
Because the reason why I asked is because the last couple of weeks before a show, especially the last 2 weeks,
right?
In order to get it super, super dry, you have to be able to sit down and sleep these hours. You can't be up and up and up.
I know.
So it's just really critical.
We'll work it.
I know.
We'll find it. But,
yeah. I think you're just used to. You're like me. You're always a lot of energy. Always going. Like people always say, "Hey, you got so much energy." Like it's just the way I am. I've always been this way. My brother's this way. I'm this way. So I know you're this way.
Oh yeah.
But when I go down, I go down.
I mean, I'll sleep. Now, there'll be like one day when I'll just crash. So like Sundays, typically, I'm done. Until like Monday morning. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what do you guys? You sleep all day? Or?
No, not all day. But I'll fall asleep at like 8 o'clock at night. And then I get up at like 4:35.
I know. Well, you crashed out early like the other night.
Oh, yeah.
But I think because you said, "Oh, text me anytime." I'm like,
but I saw that about 1 a.m. when I got up to eat.
Oh, fuck.
I just wasn't going to touch you back
then.
At night? Chicken? I get chicken, spray butter on it, eat it, get some cereal.
Oh my god! Okay, we're gonna get more food in here.
Yeah, I think
because it's just you need more food. Yeah. Because waking up eating food.
I don't eat bad. I'll go start smashing chicken out of a container in the fridge.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. I'm not sleep eating. I know. I wake up and I'm like, all right, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. I'm like, nope, I'm hungry. Not going back to sleep. Have to go eat. I'll go right back to sleep.
Stomach growling?
I'm starving.
Man,
I wake up hungry.
I wonder why. So you're not engaging your parasympathetic nervous system. That's what's happening.
Okay.
So when you go to sleep, normally your parasympathetic nervous system engages, and it's the rest and restore system, and then you're not really trying to. Your body's not trying to digest. So usually after a couple hours of sleep, the digestive system shuts down. But yours isn't shutting down. I don't know why.
No, sorry.
It's probably why you grow so easy too, because you're always
constantly putting food in.
Yeah. All right, well,
we'll figure it out.
Good questions for next time.
We'll keep talking about it next week.
All right. Well, this is episode
2.
Episode 2. Hey, send in those suggestions for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're trying to come up with this logo. I really, really, really am excited about this because we're gonna do some big things with this. My plan is to take this motherfucker on the road.
Yeah. Oh, we're going.
We're gonna go to Olympia.
We're hopefully gonna go to Vegas.
We go to Vegas.
for that.
Yeah,
a couple other ones.
I want to go some really cool places.
Yeah, let's go.
I want to go like Bali. I told you about that.
Yeah.
And Chris is like, oh, it's for vacation, not for my
Yeah.
Like, how great would it be to go? I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool. Was they?
He said, "Don't lie, you ate my bars." I did eat those bars, but that was before diet.
What bars are
Dude,
these?
super fat bars. They're
What the
so
fuck
good.
are they?
And
I've never
they're-
seen these.
I'll bring Hunter. Bring us a super fat bar.
What is it? Something he makes?
No, it's
Oh.
he has a recipe for it. They're amazing. I'll bring you one.
Okay.
If you got a sweet tooth, it's fine.
Oh,
Come
fuck.
to Australia. All right.
Oh,
That's a good one.
That's definitely. I was actually on my
That's
list.
on the list,
Yeah.
for
I actually
sure.
have clients over there in Australia, and they're like, "Oh, come over." And
I
I
have
just,
a couple of friends over there, so we'll.
I'll tell you where I really want to go: New Zealand.
That'd be
Just
cool.
because
That'd be
I
cool.
want to go to the place where they filmed the fucking Lord of the Rings. My brother went there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And he said it's fucking. They just preserved it. You can go into the Hobbit. Yes, man. You can,
Oh,
he's like,
sweet.
oh, they took pictures. I want to do that shit.
No, we have to make it a company. They're that good. They
Oh,
are
really?
that good.
So he makes these.
He doesn't make them. He just has the recipe. Hunter can't cook.
Oh, okay. Who
He can
makes it?
cook chicken. Well, Kristen made these. He gave her the
Oh,
recipe.
okay. Well, shit. Let's make them. Let's make some money. All right,
All right, guys, take it easy.
Take it easy. Thank you so much. And we are out.